All right, what's up, guys? I got my drink, I got my laptop, and today we're going to be talking about solo founder, solopreneur, starting a business by yourself. We're going to be going over real businesses started by solo founders, why they work, and I think it's going to be awesome. But first, what inspired this idea is this tweet right here from this guy, John Rush, super cool guy, worth a follow. He shared this data, which to me is mind-blowing, right? So this is the percent of startups with no VC funding that have one founder and how that is changing over the years and skyrocketing, right? 10 years ago, only 22% of businesses were started with no VC funding and one founder because it was really hard, but it's getting easier, and the data shows this, right? This is the best time to start a solo business, bootstrapped, all this, right? In the last year, it jumped 6 percentage points, 6 points. 38% of businesses are now started without VC funding and by a solo founder. There was this lie that was maybe true 10 years ago that you needed a co-founder to be successful. Well, now you don't. And this data is what proves it. What I think is even cooler about this is because I've been doing this. I started my business solo. I started 8 years ago, right? This was my big bet too. I believe that this was going to change the world. I know all these, you see these VC people, right? They raise all this money. They get all this attention. They get the article on TechCrunch and all that stuff. Well, behind the scenes, I've talked to lots of these people and they make no money from it, right? They either got to go billion-dollar company or go bust. If it's not a billion-dollar company, the VCs drive them into the ground and they don't even make a single dollar, even though they worked their asses off for 10 years. I've talked to thousands of solo founders and that is not the case, right? I think it's way cooler to go and build a solo business, a business that profits, that cash flows. Your life is way better and you can have more fun along the way. So we are in the golden age of solopreneurship, but you're probably wondering, what is a good solopreneur idea? What's an idea that I can start that will actually work as a solopreneur? We're going to be going over 3 successful ideas, why they work, and how you could potentially remix these and build something on your own. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through this and basically I just like to go and look for cool ideas. Let's start with something mid-tier. So I want to look at something that's making between $10,000 to $50,000 a month, which I have this way to do this. I like to look at this because it's kind of past I like to look at anything from 10 to 50K a month. So let's go to there and let's sort by revenue. So I want to see kind of some more on the higher end of 10 to 50K per month. But let's go through here and let's find an interesting idea. So let's scroll through. And again, I just like to see something that kind of piques my interest. So let's see here. I'm not really seeing anything crazy that I'm interested in, but this one looks interesting here. A lot of data on this one too. Dilly Dally Games, looks like online arcade gaming company, makes $20,000 a month, has 60,000 traffic, and costs $500 to start with its solopreneur score of 90 out of 100. I like to look at the high solopreneur scores. Let's go check out what this business does. So I started an online gaming company and a free arcade game that generates $16,000 a month. Okay, that's interesting. So it sounds like he has multiple games that make some money, but one of the games makes $16,000 a month. Let's go check out what that game is. He'll link to it here, or you can click it here. And let's see, MexicanTrain.com. Oh my gosh. This business right here makes $16,000 to $20,000 a month. It's a solopreneur. He started it by himself. And this is crazy. I don't even know. I mean, this looks like Domino's to me, but I've never heard of the Mexican Train. So I don't even know how this game works, right? Can I drag this up here? I have no idea. It doesn't tell me. This isn't clearly very user friendly. Obviously, if I knew how to play Mexican Train, it'd probably make total sense. And that's okay. And that's how it should be. I love this, right? This is simple, fun. It's easy. And clearly there's a market for it, right? This is something that you could build with AI too, right? Now with these AI tools, they are pretty good at building games. I imagine if you went to Cursor, Lovable, one of these tools, and you just prompted it, say, hey, build me a Mexican Train game, and you send it a bunch of data with it. And shameless plug, check out the AI Build Accelerator, which I linked to in there. If you're curious about building something like this, you could build this. That doesn't mean it's going to be successful, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is it, man. This is simple. It's fun. And it doesn't have to be too serious to make money online. How could you do something similar to this? Well, the first thing that comes to mind for this is that this is a niche online game, right? I never heard of Mexican Train before, But I imagine that there's hundreds of thousands of players that play this every single day that are addicted to this game for whatever reason. Let's go and find another game like that. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm just going to tell it what I'm thinking. So, hey, I just found this game called Mexican Train Game, and it makes $20,000 a month. I think what's interesting about this is that it's super niche. I had never heard of this game before, but clearly it has an audience and it must be addicting. Can you share with me some other niche, but still very popular games like the Mexican Train Game? And if you have any data around how many worldwide players it has, that would be cool too. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. This is not a very, let this load up. It has a global following. Okay, cool. Niche yet popular games. I'm not going to spend too much time going over this, but here are 5 games that I'd never heard of before. Chicken Foot. What the is that? I don't know what it is, but sounds like it's similar because it is also dominoes based. So if I search Chicken Foot in here, let's see. Well, that is a band. Let's search Chicken Foot game. Okay, here's a domino game. Look, nobody is playing chicken. No, oh my gosh. Guys, if you're watching this, I don't have the time to build this, but why don't you build the Chicken Foot game? I don't know how many users it has. You probably want to do a little bit more research, but looks like there's this one. There's online dominoes gameplay, Chicken Foot online, but there's no chickenfootdominoes.com. Let's go see if that exists. Name cheap. Oh my gosh. How fun is this? Chickenfootdominoes.com. Because I think what's interesting, sorry to kind of share that, this is mexicantrain.com. So if chickenfootdominoes.com is available for $16 a year, you can have this domain and probably sell this domain. Okay, guys, I don't know how popular Chicken Foot game is. I didn't do much research. I would go into ChatGPT and I would say, okay, give me a little bit more details about Chicken Foot because I don't know about that. And, you know, if you're not passionate about Chicken Foot, then maybe this would be a little bit harder to do over the long term because, you know, it's important to do something that you know a little bit about, about Chicken Foot players and that sort of thing. But guys, I thought that was kind of cool. Anyways, let's go to the more important thing. Anybody can build this, right? You can build this with AI tools and hundreds of people could build this too. How does it become a business? How does it actually make money? So let's take a look at that and let's look at how this business makes money. Okay, so this guy here, I'm back in the case study right here, and you can see how they grew the business and maybe some a little bit on their business model. My guess is that this business makes money. I mean, he's self-employed, so he's doing this. It's supporting him, which is cool. I'm guessing that this business purely makes money from ads, which is cool, which means he probably has a lot of traffic. So if I go to here and look at his traffic, yes, he's doing 300,000 per month in traffic. That means probably 300,000 people are going to play mexicantrain.com. There's just a decent sized market. It's not, you know, Candy Crush, but it's a decent sized market. Okay, so the one thing that I do really want to look at is how he grew the business. So since launch, this is what we always share in our case studies, which shameless plug, you should join Starter Story to read about real business. What I think is cool about this is this isn't some influencer online sharing how they grew their business and their model and framework or whatever, right? This is a real person that probably doesn't even have an online following sharing how their business actually grew. So I'm looking through, I'm reading here. In 2019, I decided to go all in on Facebook ads with the revenue I was making from my game. And that's interesting, right? That wouldn't be the first thing I think he would do. But in 2019, when he was first starting, he basically took all his revenue and he pumped it into his app, which grew him from 2,000 DAUs, daily active users, to 15,000 DAUs. That means he basically 10x'd his business with Facebook ads. And, you know, the business wasn't profitable, but he knew that by running these ads, then he would get the users and they would just keep coming back over and over again. And that clearly worked because what's smart about that is you only have to run these Facebook ads for a certain amount of time. And if the users keep coming back, that actually built up, which his second thing was that SEO. So then SEO started working. So now, because he ran all these ads, the SEO, you know, he ranks #1 for probably Mexican Train Game. So he didn't have to run these ads forever. He got the users and then it built up the SEO. And now he gets all this, you know, free traffic, but he also has all these returning users. So I think that's cool. This is a super cool game. I'm hoping that if you're watching this, you've never seen this before, but this is a great solopreneur idea. It's just a game, right? It doesn't have to look crazy. It doesn't need to have salespeople, right? This is just a Mexican train game that I can play and have some fun. Okay, so let's go to the next idea. But before we get into it, I just want to make sure that you know that you can go and access this solopreneurs database, right? This has over 100 solopreneur ideas. You can go to it right now and you can start reading about them. You can start learning about them. Comb through this list, start reading about it, look at how much revenue these businesses have, click through into these case studies. And if you want to build something like this, check out this little button here that says build this idea, right? This is going to our new product, Starter Story Build. With AI tools, you can build some of these businesses, some of them are relatively simple, like the Mexican train game. You can build them in 12 days by using AI tools, even if you don't know how to code. This is our AI Build Bootcamp, where you can join, and in 12 days, you can see the syllabus right here. You can come up with the idea. You can set up the app. You can build it, set up database, set up auth, do all these things, do your design, and officially launch it. The goal of the AI Build Bootcamp is that in 12 days, you come up with an idea and you come out the other side with a shipped product, a real project, and the skills so that you can do this over and over again and keep shipping new things. Shameless plug, sorry about that, but I'm super pumped about it. Check out this database, and if you like any ideas, click that button, and I think it's pretty cool. Okay, let's get back to more ideas. So let's go and look for something a little bigger this time. I'm going to go to revenue over 50K per month. And I am going to, let's go look for $1 million business. So a business that's making 80 to maybe 100 to 200,000 in revenue. So sorted by revenue here, let's go and check that out. So this one looks interesting. Yeah. Okay. I know this one. This one's awesome. I got to share this one because this is like one of the solopreneurs, but this is DesignJoy. This is a one-person design agency. So it's one person, it's solopreneur. $140,000 a month, $145,000 a month, $1 to start. And let's go take a look at this idea. So I have met this guy who started this business. We did a YouTube video with him. I went to his house in Arizona. I sat on his couch right here and I talked to him about his business. This guy is super, super legit. I think what he's doing is amazing. He kind of invented this, what I call productized service model. So let's go talk about it real quick. So I'm going to go to DesignJoy and check out his business. This is his website. This is his business right here. Design subscriptions for everyone. Basically what it is called a productized service so you need a designer. You're a startup. You are a company and you need someone to help you create something that looks really good. Website, app, logo, landing page, whatever it is. He charges you $4,995 a month. He'll be your outsourced designer. Instead of charging by the hour, he doesn't charge $1,000 an hour, $100 an hour. He just charges by the month. So startups, companies, people may use him for 3 months at a time, then cancel. And they basically they don't have to hire a designer. They get someone who's really good and proven, and then they get to move on with their lives. I think that this is really interesting because he is not tying his revenue to the time that he works, right? He is charging $5,000 a month. And you might think that that is kind of crazy. Like, okay, well, how does he make, how does he make $1 million to $2 million a year? He must have to have 20 or 30 clients and he probably ripping his hair out. But I talked to him about this, and actually he does some really smart things. He doesn't take any calls. Companies can only submit one request at a time, which forces them to really think about, okay, I need to make sure that, I give him all the requirements. I can't message him in the middle of the night and say, hey, can you fix this? Or can you do this for me? Right? I can only send one request at a time. The other cool thing too, is that actually probably a lot of his clients don't use him all the time. They may go months at a time without using him because design is something you need maybe once and then you don't change it for a while, right? That is actually, he's very smart. It works well in the design category because they're not needing him every single day. But how can he actually charge $5,000 a month? Well, the reality is when I talked to him as well, he didn't start charging $5,000 a month. He is so good at what he does that he can now charge $5,000 a month, right? He can charge this huge premium for this. But when he started many years ago, he was charging $300 a month or something super low like that, where at the time for the client, that was a no-brainer, but that got That allowed him to put in the work, prove himself, get testimonials, and slowly over time, he raised his price to the kind of optimal price point for him, which is $5,000 a month, which means he has 20 to 30 clients and he makes $1 million a year. And he gets to more choose his clients, right? If a client is annoying for him, he can just fire them, right? There's no hack to that. That's putting in the work and actually showing up every day and marketing yourself and all that. But that's why I think this is cool. I just love this model, this kind of productized service model, because it's perfect for a solo founder, right? It's not tying the money you make to the time spent. And there's tons of more business ideas like this. And this is just another example from another case study on Starter Story. This is Jim Designs. It's a smaller business. It's making 100K revenue, which is no joke. That's still, that's still a great salary to get to do what you love, to design. But if I go check out Jim Designs here, we'll go search him. You can probably see that it looks pretty similar, right? Product design subscription, unlimited premium designs for SaaS startups. Guys, this landing page is not a whole lot different than a DesignJoy's landing page. This is another example that I love to share, which is like, look, there are a lot of people can win in one category. If it's been done before, that doesn't mean it can't be done again. So productized service, that is a great solo idea. I hope you got some cool ideas from this, but let's keep going. That was my second idea. Now let's find an idea based on something that I'm passionate about. And for you, I want you to do the same. So if you are, particularly interested in a topic or something, that's really, really important when you start an idea, because you get an advantage when you start, which is you already know about the topic. You're maybe already skilled in what it takes to do it. Those are the kind of business ideas where you'll win faster. So I want to go through this and just find something that like kind of piques my interest, and let's go see if it's a good business idea and let's talk about it. So let's just keep going here. Online writing course for youth. Like, I'm not interested in the youth, right? So that came off wrong. That is not something that I'm particularly passionate about, right? Teaching kids. If I was a teacher, maybe that would be more interesting, because I would be better at teaching or something like that. That's not something I'm particularly good at. So I'm going to keep going and looking through here. And this one looks interesting here. RailsDevs. Rails, Ruby on Rails. This is the framework that I built in. I know how to code in that framework. A job board for developers. I started as a developer many years ago. This is interesting to me. I can immediately grasp exactly what this business idea is without even looking at it yet. So let's take a look at this one and check out RailsDevs. So this is a case study on Starter Story, how a spreadsheet became a business that generated $146,000 per year in a year. That's cool. Okay. $10,000 per month business. That's a good tech salary. One founder, 0 employees. I like this idea, right? I'm going to go to RailsDevs. This is railsdevs.com. It's a job board. Everyone knows what a job board is, but I like job boards. Why? Because job boards are relatively easy to start. They, are simple. Every business needs to hire, and hiring sucks. But I like job boards a lot. So let's talk about job boards for a minute. We'll talk about this business and we'll talk about some other job boards. Every business needs to hire. Hiring sucks, and businesses need to do it. And anytime you have a business idea that is serving businesses and businesses are paying for it, it's usually, generally speaking, it's easier to make money from businesses than it is consumers. This idea here, which is RailsDevs, which is the reverse job board for Rails developers. I don't really know what that means. I guess it's for people that are looking for work and you can go hire them. That's cool. It's just a different approach. It's another approach to a job board. But this reminds me, I like niche job boards. Okay, so Indeed.com, huge business, right? A lot of these job boards. That's cool, but really hard. Niche job boards. This is super cool. I think this is a super cool topic. This is a great solo business idea. It reminds me of the Onions guy. Do you guys know this guy? I'm going to search him here. It's Peter Askew. Yeah, he's Peter Askew, Searchbound. This is him on X. Super worth a follow. Super cool guy. And let's go check out. Yeah, he has this website called Ranch Work. And this is a job board for ranchers, right? This just reminds me of this is like super, super niche. I have a ranch. I don't have a ranch, but if I had a ranch, I need to hire ranchers, right? You're not going to want to hire me because I'm not going to, go out there every day and do the work and get the cattle to move around. But there's people that need to hire ranchers. This is a niche job board. And I think this job board makes good money, right? I want to go and post on this job board. Let's see how much this costs. Post a job. Okay. Look at this kind of pricing, right? This isn't cheap, right? For one job post here, for 10 days of job posts, it's about $100. Or for a 60-day job post, it's $200. That's not cheap, right? So all you need to have is 20 jobs or if you have 10 jobs posted on the platform, then that's $2,000, right? That kind of scales a little bit better than, a consumer product or something like that. So let's go check out RailsDevs and let's see how much it costs. So he's charging $299 per month. That's crazy. So that means that if you have 10 clients, 10 people signing up for RailsDevs.com, you're making $3,000 a month. That's probably pretty similar. So he's doing $10,000 a month. So that means he probably has 30 people actually paying for this. 30 people paying for a service is not a lot, right? It's not 100,000. It's not 1,000. It's just 30 people. That's the power of a niche job board, which I think is really cool. The challenge is the chicken and egg problem, right? Is if there's a job board, there's two sides to the marketplace, right? There's the people hiring and then there's the actual job seekers, right? You have to be able to solve both of those. So there's interesting ways of solving that for sure. But that is something we can probably learn about by reading into the case study. So let's go and check out launching the business. Let's just go and see if he talks about that in his case study. So let's go to growing the business. I always like to see how these businesses grew. Building a marketplace this is exactly what I said. Building a marketplace is traditionally more difficult than a B2C or B2B platform. The cold start problem, right? Chicken and egg problem, kind of similar. Without any users on one side of the marketplace, how do you attract folks on the other side? And that's actually what's just smart about his business idea in general, is that he focuses only on developers. He doesn't have to focus on doing a hiring for marketers and customer support people and all these different things. It's just developers. That allows him to create a more niche, a better service. And then on the company side, he only needs to look for companies that have their apps built in Rails. That just makes everything easier, right? So that's cool. I think the other thing is that developers are just generally hard to hire, right? I found it very challenging for me to hire a developer. I know that that's painful, right? Maybe hiring customer support people is not as painful. Problems are really important. You can charge a lot of money for solving those problems, which is exactly what he did here, which is $300 a month. Okay, I think those are three good ideas, right? Very different ideas. We had a B2C online game that makes money purely from ads. Then we had a service business, productized service. And then we talked about a job board. So very, very different ideas. It just proves that you can make money from so many different ideas. And I compel you to go click on the link in the description to go check out these solopreneur ideas and then see if you can find something that's interesting. Go and build this, but then remix it, right? Maybe it's not Rails devs. Maybe it's Next.js devs, right? You can build this with AI. You can start marketing it. You can start getting your first users. It's all possible to do. So if you are actually serious about building something and just trying something, right? It's only 12 days. You can join the AI Build Accelerator. You can build something. Worst case scenario is you come out the other side with the skills to build it. You know how to build stuff and you can go build even more stuff, right? That's the power of AI tools right now. I think it's amazing. And I think you should check it out. So what do we learn today? You can start a SaaS, a game, a service, a job board. You can do all this by yourself now, right? This is the data that proves it. Now you can build with AI tools. Now you can automate a lot of the kind of parts of the business that used to cost money. You needed a higher VC for. This is the data that proves it right here. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, but it proves that it's possible. And I think this is the trend, right? Maybe next year it's going to be 50%. I really do think that we're going to change the world, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. To be successful as a solopreneur, you have to wear many hats, right? You got to be good at development. You got to be somewhat good at design. You got to know how to do marketing. You got to be able to kind of do a little bit of everything. I personally think that's really cool. Getting to learn all these different things while building a profitable cash flowing business. I think it's super cool. This is what I've been doing over the last 8 years. And I just think it's cool because I remember that, YC, which is the big VC thing, they were saying for many years is that it's not possible to do things as a solo founder, or we really don't like to fund businesses that are solo founders. And to me, that didn't make any sense because you can do this as a solo founder, right? Maybe you will grow faster with co-founders, but this, I believe, is the future. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some cool ideas. And let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. That's it. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Peace.